Hello everyone, my name is Wendy and I'm with Winds of Change Ministries. So it's a bit chilly, and which is fitting because the topic of today is kind of a chilling topic. So I've known through personal discernment that I've created some enemies that don't like me and would like to send some bad mojo, is that the right pronunciation? My way. In fact, they really don't like me. They'd like to, and yeah, I've stomped on some toes, and people don't like me. Now, I've known this, and because I had a dream about the wicked witch queen with the evil eye for me many months ago. I may not have known who that wicked witch queen was, but I do now. And anyway, so this suspicion of mine, which I had dreams about, was confirmed today through another source, an outside source. And so I've decided it's time to go ahead and talk about this topic. So, yes, there are people who would like to, would like to cause me bodily harm. Now, let me clarify something. I'm all about tower moments, where a person's ego has to go through a death so that the person could be reborn as a newer, brighter, more improved version of themselves. I'm all for that kind of death. But no, these people would like me to, go 6 feet under. Now, I already know this because when I was in Florida, I had someone tried to lure me into their van. I had someone, I don't share everything with y'all, okay? I had another person stalking my van, scoping it out at night, hiding in the bushes thinking that I didn't see him. I had another one, while I was sleeping, have his face pressed against my glass. And so, yeah, I've had some people, and I'll tell you the truth about that one, the one that had his face pressed against my glass. I don't even know if that was a real person. It might have been a demon because he was all black, and I didn't see anything but black. He was like a shadow, and I glanced away for a second, and then when I looked back, he was gone. Of course, my dog jumped up and barked in his face too, but he was nowhere to be found in that parking lot. He disappeared out of thin air. So maybe he was something otherworldly. Regardless, he wasn't allowed in my van, and he got frightened away. So what I'm trying to say is I'm a child of God and I'm protected, right? What is a child of God? Do you know? A lot of people claim that they're children of God, but are they really? I am a true child of God. And this is clearly defined in Revelation 12, what a true child of God is. It's a person who follows the commandments of God, all right? And if you don't know what those are, start reading your Old Testament. That's where you find the commandments of God. And it's a person, it's not just the commandments, plus you have to have the testimony of Yahushua, aka Yeshua, aka Jesus. if you have not one or the other, but both, if you do both, then you are a true child of God. And I do both. So I am a true child of God. And with that comes privileges, certain protections. So am I afraid of these people, this witch and this coven of people that would like to do me in? Do I look scared? No, I'm not scared. So why am I not scared? Well, see, I don't just read the Bible and say, oh, I'm a child of God, so I'm protected, and that's it. No, God gives me evidence, okay? I speak with authority because I know that I know that I know what I'm talking about. I don't just read something out of a book, okay? I know it through and through. So let me tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you a story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my basement, and I had a bag of trash in one hand, and I had a box of shipment boxes in the other hand. Let me tell you, that box of shipment boxes was pretty heavy for just one arm, with one hand grip, right? And so I heard God say, drop it. And I told God, I dropped it instantly. I was like, well, you don't have to tell me twice. And so I dropped it. And then I went about my way, and I took that trash up into the upstairs and threw it outside in the trash bin. Then I returned down into my basement, and I went to go pick up that box of boxes, and I found a crushed snake under that heavy box of boxes. A crushed snake. When I saw it, I heard God tell me, if you obey me, if you do what I tell you to, I will crush your enemies. Okay? So, when God tells me jump, I jump. When God tells me to stand still, hold my ground, I hold my ground. When God says, whatever, it doesn't matter. Go here, go there, whatever. I do it. Because if I do what God tells me to, He's gonna protect me from my enemies. All right? Anyway, so this promise was tested a few months later. God put me in a position. For a long time I was unemployed. I was working on my Bible project, Horeb Beruach, Sword of the Spirit. I was working on it for several years, unemployed. And I had exhausted my resources. So I was like, God, when are you going to bless me? When are you going to bless me? Well, He never did, okay? I still had to be faithful. I knew that He was real. I knew that I heard His voice. I knew. But it wasn't time for a blessing. So anyway, He put it in my mind to go and work at a certain location. And it's not the most glamorous location, but I did it. And I walked in, and I had a job within a couple of minutes. I was hired by the assistant manager. The GM was, she was on leave because her sister had died suddenly. And so she was on leave. And when she returned, I was already working, and she didn't like me. In fact, she didn't like anyone. She was a very bitter person. But I tried to be friendly with her. And one day, she jumped my ass for no reason. And so I got home. My pride was hurt, I got home and I cried out to God and I said, What are you going to do about this? You said you're going to crush my enemies. What are you going to do about it? I called God out on it, right? So that night I had a dream. It was one of the dreams that are very real, right? Vivid dreams. And anyway, in this dream, I was at work and I was by myself in one location, and everyone else was like in another location away from me. And they were with the boss, and she was snapping and yelling at everyone. And every time she snapped, I would just cringe. Oh, it was so painful. And this dream went on for hours. It went on all night. So that would stick in my brain. God was trying to teach me something. He's saying, this is an unusual dream. This isn't an unusual dream. I was so stressed out all night. That woman was griping at people. Anyway, then all of a sudden, the roof of the establishment was pulled off of the building. And I looked up and I could sense a group of invisible giants looking down in the establishment. Kind of like, if someone had pulled off removed a shoebox lid and looked down and saw a bunch of mice down there. That's what it was like. And so anyway, so they were looking down on this situation and seeing what was going on. And then I heard Jesus. Now, oftentimes Jesus accompanies me in my dreams. Yeshua, Jesus. Sometimes I see him. Sometimes he's an avatar and I just know it's him. Sometimes it's just a voice in my head that I know is him, a presence. Sometimes I can feel him beside me. I just don't see him. Usually he's on my right. Most times on my right. Sometimes on my left. But anyway, but he told me, he said, say, I object. And I thought, I object? What is that? What is that about? I object. Anyway, all of a sudden, all of those judges who were looking down started calling out judgments. All those invisible giants that I sensed. And they started calling out judgments, and they said, give her sudden death. Give her sudden death. One after another. Give her sudden death. And all of a sudden I realized they were going to kill her. Like they did her sister, who had died suddenly. Just, a few weeks earlier. And so I raised up my hand and I said, no, I object. People get their feelings hurt for the silliest things, right? Was it right for her to be ugly to me, hurt my feelings? That wasn't right. But was it worth dying over? No, it wasn't worth dying over, so I object. Anyway, then, so the next day, I got to work and I told her, I said, whew, this place is giving me nightmares. I told this to my boss. Now, I didn't give her the details, but I felt like telling that to her, and I did. And she says, oh my God, I never have dreams. I never have dreams. But I had a dream last night. And she says, and it was so real. It was so, I can't believe it. It was so real. And she said, a tornado came, picked me and my house up. And I was in this tornado. Anyway, now tornadoes, I have a lot of dreams with tornadoes. They don't scare me. When I was a kid, I got a little bit scared by the tornadoes, okay? But many tornadoes have interacted with me over the years, and they never hurt me. All right, they never hurt me. So I'm just not afraid of tornadoes. In fact, in some of my dreams, I am the tornado. All right. So I was curious if she had what kind of dream this was for her. I said, "Well, were you scared?" And she says, "Oh, I was terrified. It was so scary. I thought I was going to die." And when she said that, I knew that this was confirmation that my dream was real. This was what she received as as kind of like a warning. And God was petting my ego a little bit, letting me know, "See, Wendy, I'm dealing with this for you. I got you, baby. I got you. You don't gotta worry about nothing." Anyway, so I just, a few months later, I ended up leaving because this lady, she really was not the nicest person. And she wanted to accuse me of something that was false. And I told her, "Hey, that's a lie. I don't care what those other people said. That's a lie. I've got proof. I've got evidence. I've got evidence. I always have evidence." Anyway, I have evidence. She didn't want to see my evidence. She didn't want to see it. So I was like, "Well, I'm out of here." I said, "Oh God, I'm ready to go." And you know what? Within 2 hours, within 30 minutes, I had someone come into my life, walked in and told me about a job opportunity. And within 2 hours, I had that new job, which paid more money and was actually a lower management position. Okay? So, God blesses those who are obedient. 6 months later, so I was working there for about 6 months, and then 6 months after this, God gave me a dream to go ahead and go back to her and tell her what happened that day. Give her spiritual insight into what happened. So I returned to my original job, and I told her what had happened and how God was gonna kill her because she is oppressive towards people, and she's building up a lot of bad karma. And if she doesn't knock it off, she's going to get the all right. So I let her know. I said, "Look, I have no hurt feelings towards you, and I'm just speaking this because God told me to speak it to you. What happened that day, and how you were shown mercy, and how you have been, and now He wants me to follow through and let you know what happened that day." And she told me thank you, that she had already been feeling it in her heart. I don't know if you heard that because I got my mic. She's been feeling it in her heart that that's what she needed to do. God has been laying it on her heart. And she had also been hearing it from other people. All right? So other people have been sent to her. Now me, God always sends other messengers before He sends in the big guns, okay? And I'm the big guns. I'm the closer, all right? So I had to present her. She'd already been given her warnings. I had to present her with the cold hard truth of if she didn't knock it off, really bad things were going to happen to her. And she ended up thanking me and even giving me a hug. Okay? And that's the power of God. God doesn't want to kill people. He doesn't want to destroy people. He doesn't want to do that. He's merciful. Okay? He's good. I didn't act on my own feelings. I was obedient to God. And do you see the good that came out of that situation? Anyway, so, yeah, I have a knack for stepping on people's toes as I try to reveal truth to them, as I try to put the mirror in front of them and, you know, let them see themselves for who they are. They don't like it. But anyway, yeah. It does not benefit anyone to make themselves my enemy. I am working for God, okay? And there are many people out here in the world, you might be one of them, who are working for God. And you don't have to fear these wicked people, okay? You don't have to fear them. Let me be an example of how good God is and the power that you have when you are a true child of God. Trying to think. Oh yeah. There was something else I wanted to talk about. So, tomorrow I am going to do a video on soul contracts. Some of you may be aware of what a soul contract is. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to share what happens when you break a soul contract. All right. If these topics interest you, if you would like to learn more, subscribe and hit the notification button. And hey, hit the like button. Share this video, because here on this channel, I'm going to be revealing some of the, the hidden things, and exposing truth and sharing things, right? So, yes, like, subscribe, share, comment below, do all the things. Hey, you want to support my ministry? You want to support God's work? There's options in the description box. So, my name is Wendy, and we're all living in the winds of change.